Welcome to episode lucky number 13. You're born on the 13th of March. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think a Friday, though. You used to tell everyone. You are Luyanda Peter. I'm Sashin Narishkin. This is Chatter from Cow Corner, where we chew the cud so you don't have to. As usual, we have 5 subjects, 5 minutes each. We keep ourselves to those. Rugby recap from the weekend, a cricket recap, 2 test matches, a demise of great sporting teams, sporting documentaries, which are your favorites, and of course our fun fast 5 facts. We're ready to start the clock. There we go. Our 5 minutes starts now. Mr. Luyanda Peter, you tell me about the rugby on the weekend.
Well, I think first we need to start with the World Rugby Awards. Player of the Year, Malcolm Marx. I think as South Africans, we obviously should be happy for him, and I think he does deserve it. But we gotta feel for Oxenchair. This was his time, 2nd year in a row, and yeah, it's a bit heartbreaking for him.
Yes, heartbreaking. I mean, obviously you feel very happy for Malcolm Marx, who got nominated, I think, way back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe even earlier than that. When will a prop or fullback or centre ever win this award? So those were the rugby awards. I mean, there was also the Breakthrough Player of the Year, Fabian Holland, I think also well-deserved from the All Blacks. But what do you make of that 24-13 victory over the Irish? Maybe at face value, it looks quite close. Was it really close in the end?
It was a poor game all around. Yes, people are saying, we caused Ireland to get all those yellow cards and red cards. But it was a poor game all around for teams that are, in the top 4, top 5 of World Rugby. We definitely dominated. I mean, up front, we killed them. And that's why all those penalties came through, right? They just couldn't take our pressure. And yeah, like I said, it's not our finest game, unfortunately.
But, so I mean, you're not the only person to echo that. Quite a few people, even on WhatsApp groups that I'm on, said, "Oh, I was very disappointed." And then I watched the France-Australia game, which really flowed, and there was sort of nearly 80 points in that game. Much better advertisement for rugby, blah blah blah. But isn't that how some of the best sides play? Because the South Africans really wanted to win. They haven't won at Aviva. In fact, the only person in the squad is Eben Etzebeth, right, who's won at the Aviva Stadium. So surely it was almost like a knockout game where you just have to win, you just have to grind them down. And I know what you say, not a great advertisement for rugby, but it is what it is, right?
Look, the other thing was the overuse of technology. It's killing the game, and perhaps there's a separate segment that we can talk about in future, just around the technology. But do you know that the first half, even though it was 43 odd minutes, because we continued playing after the whistle, but it actually went for closer to 60 minutes, and it was because of all the referrals, right? The TMO referrals. So I think this is why we're saying not a great advert for rugby. We're kind of moving towards the NFL where, there's so many stop starts. But look, we'll take the win. We definitely needed it. And we had to kind of assert our dominance. And I think now there's absolutely no doubt that in terms of a forward pack, we've got the best forward pack. No one comes close.
Yeah, and also lineouts were far, far better than they have been. And I was a little bit worried about the fatigue having slipped in, very long season, and our rugby championships are obviously much closer to the year-end tour. So it makes it a little bit harder from a sort of a squad management perspective. But again, Rassie and the team there seem to have done. And what do you make of Stick having such a great midweek kind of riling the Irish up? I mean, those games are normally played by Rassie, and it was sort of passed to him. What do you make of the heavy talk from others inside of the Springbok management?
Well, I mean, the funniest thing was for the whole weekend was Rassie, giving stick to the fans at the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
Who had been heckling him the whole game. So, yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of talk in this game. I can just imagine how much talk there would have been had we been playing England, right?
Yeah,
Who almost slipped up against Argentina, by the way.
yeah,
Probably again the game of the weekend with Argentina
yeah.
just coming up, and I think Argentina is showing that they deserve a spot at the table. They are
Mm,
definitely a top 4, top 5 team, and I
yes,
see them at the next World Cup making a quarterfinal and perhaps sneaking in a semis because
yeah.
they've just been great the whole year, not just this tour.
Yeah, great development of their local league in spite of English journalists thinking otherwise. And, great addition to the rugby championships, makes it an extra couple of games.
Yeah. Cricket.
Okay, we start immediately with our next topic. First of all, obviously, we have the Ashes. Oops, I lost my notes. I have to bend down there. First, we have the Ashes, because let's deal with that, because that match is finished, over and done in 2 days. The first 2-day Ashes test match, I think since 1921 is what I saw. England
Yeah.
went to sleep after the first day, feeling cock-a-hoop on top. By the time the sun set in the second day's play, comfortably beaten. Is this fast-forward cricket, baseball? Is it something you like? Is it something that you think works? What do you think?
Well, funny enough, that was the question I was going to throw at you around baseball. It works if you've got the players who can pull it off. But also, Test cricket is not like T20 or ODIs. You've also got 5 days, so there is no need to go out and chase after every ball. Travis Head obviously played his part of baseball. I mean, that was what an innings and 123 in no time. Yeah, I think the worry now, and I guess the question I'm throwing back at you now is, are we in for a whitewash? Is this going to be a 5-0, 4-0 whitewash?
Okay, so I think there are a lot of people who would agree with you. It's a lack of sort of technical ability to knuckle down and bat long periods of time and adapt to Test cricket and the rigors of Test cricket. And let's face it, wasn't a very easy pitch to bat on. But if you applied yourself and you were selective in your shot making, like Travis Head, and even Marnus, I mean, Marnus got a very sort of comfortable 50. It's the application that worries me in this fast-forward social media world where you're just flicking away. It almost seems like you're playing at balls outside leg off stump that you should be leaving, and instead you're swiping to the next post. Have to hit every ball for 4. No, you're 540 balls in a day. I think that their application is poor at best. The best Australian side that we've seen in our lifetime played very aggressive cricket in both batting and bowling. And guess what? They scored comfortably over 3, sometimes 3.5, 4 and over, and they didn't have to be reckless. So I think, judging from one of my other older cricket groups where I played with a bunch of English guys, their patience is wearing a little bit thin. Do I think that they think England can win with a style? What we said last time was quite simple. You win a test match by taking 20 wickets. That's how you win a test match.
Yeah.
And do they have the bowlers? Marco Jansen and Lungi Ngidi are what the English public think Mark Wood and Jofra Archer are. They just have far superior records, and I don't think they have the bowlers. And there's probably something deeper inside there in English cricket and the system itself. Let's jump quickly to our match, which is taking place right now. We're so far ahead of that game that you're going to have to ask yourself, there is only one winner in this game. We're already over 300 ahead. We still have 10 second innings wickets in hand. It's just a matter of when we declare and how many India have to chase and can they survive. Gee, it looks like a 2-0 series victory in India looming.
Yeah, so the question I was going to ask was not enforcing the follow on the right decision.
Yeah, I think your premier fast bowler who's taken 6 wickets, that's Marco Jansen. He's bowled nearly 20 overs, and all of those overs were today. So he's going to be tired and probably needs. And remember, he made 93 in the first innings. So he's been on the field since after tea yesterday, and he's been there for nearly 3.5 sessions. Definitely needs a rest. So that was the right thing to do. I saw Temba Bavuma ran off. He sort of asked the management team, and then he said, everyone, we're batting first. And they put on the gentle roller Not too sure why. I would have put the heavy roller on to maybe they want the surface to start breaking up. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess the reason I was asking that question is, we are kind of on top. Could we not have just gone out, tried to bowl them out again, and then maybe chase 50 or in the last innings? I don't know. And I guess
I don't think
that decision is out of our hands now. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think we want to be batting last. I think you're going to start seeing the pitch towards the second half of tomorrow start to play tricks, and then the game will go a lot quicker. So we want to be batting for as long as possible, make the game, kill it, make it impossible for them to win, and hopefully walk away with a 2-0 series victory.
Okay, well, that's what we hope for.
Next subject is the demise of great sporting teams. Now, I mean, this was quite an interesting one, because what is a demise? in your eyes, what is a demise?
Well, I think for me, it's a team that was dominant and then kind of, is just gone off. And the reason I'm wearing the Man United top is because I think Manchester United is exactly one of those teams. If I may start, it's, since 2013, we haven't won the league at all. Since 2013, we've only had one coach out of 6 coaches since Alex Ferguson left. We've had one coach who has won three titles in one season. That was Jose Mourinho. Last season we finished 15th in the log.
Yeah.
We were basically in relegation. Now this is a team that in the 20, 30 odd years before then won 38 titles.
Yeah.
That for me is a sign of a team in a demise.
Okay, so there are a few things in there. So obviously the Glazers bought the franchise sort of 20 years ago, sort of in the last bit of Alex Ferguson's tenure. And there haven't been any major stadium upgrades. I mean, people even say the stadium leaks, so the training ground's exactly the same. Do you think the players themselves sort of would look elsewhere? And they've spent an enormous amount of money in keeping a lot of players who haven't delivered. Do you think it's a sort of a cultural thing at Man U?
Well, I mean, straight after Sir Alex, there were signs that we were going to do well. And I think every season, there's this optimism, right? Even now, I mean, we're doing well now. But it's just, yeah. I mean, we even had butt of a joke. There's a fan who hasn't shaved his hair, who said he's only going to cut off his hair after we win 5 in a row. And it's something like, what is it, like 400 days now or something silly? So, and yet this is a team, like I said, that was just dominant. I mean, the Man United of Sir Alex was just dominant. So for me, this is definitely one of those teams that is one of the biggest downfalls.
I've got another one football related, and that's the South African one, Morocco Swallows. They were part of the original Soweto Derby, founded 1947. First professional club in South Africa in 1971. They found themselves fall out of the first division. The very first next year, 10 odd years ago, they finished bottom, go into liquidation. Just a disastrous story, because there are a lot older people who are original supporters of this club.
Yeah, as you said, the original Soweto Derby. Yeah, said what happened with them. I mean,
just a reminder that managing a football team is a big flex, but not really a good financial one. What else?
Definitely not. Definitely not. But the one team that I thought we were both going to agree on is West Indies cricket.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Look, this team it's probably the saddest story in world sport, actually, not just in cricket. They've got so many records. I mean, I won't even go through all of them. But here's a team that's got, on the one hand, the highest ever successful run chase in Test cricket, 418, but also the second lowest Test score, 27.
That was recent. Yeah.
And this was recent, of course. I mean, obviously, the chase was in 2003, and this. So I mean, this for me is the biggest downfall. I don't know what your thoughts is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I actually had it number 1 on my list. Biggest team downfalls, and maybe there's something inside of I think we had this conversation a little while back where we said, wouldn't it make sense if maybe the West Indies competed with a bunch of smaller teams and then you took the bigger countries out of there, like Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and they played as test entities themselves, maybe separately. But I think that would kill the brand. It's just, where to from here? Are we just going to see a bunch of T20 renegade players continue to come out of the West Indies and at a test level just be average?
Well, I mean, what is the reason for their demise, especially at test cricket level, right? Because I still think at T20 they're kind of thereabouts and competing.
Won 2 World Cup. Yeah.
But at test level, they're just nowhere. And what you're saying about splitting, I'm not sure. I think it makes the talent pool even smaller. So yeah, I mean, I think it would just make it worse. So I think I don't know what needs to be done, and yeah, perhaps we can delve into this in future.
Probably just money.
Yeah.
And then one which caught our eye was sports. Initially, we said fiction. So we were looking for sports movies, but then we moved quite quickly to documentaries because there are a lot more of them. And I just thought it was very exciting, all the material that people can actually watch on sport and understand sports people better. What have you got there on your side?
So firstly, I'm going to start with an advert. So one sports documentary, which is not going to be on the top 10, but is one that I produced, 4303, the Wade van Niekerk story.
Brilliant.
So so about obviously
where can I watch it?
This was before his injury. It should still be on Showmax. I'll double check. I should have actually double checked over the weekend. But yeah, so that's just a quick advert on my side.
It's not an advert, it's something you're involved in.
Of course. But in terms of the best sporting documentaries I've watched, okay, because I think we need to put that disclaimer in. I'm going to put West Indies Fire in Babylon at number 1. And for the reason we've just spoken about in the previous segment, a completely dominant team, a team that was not taken seriously, but just went out and literally just broke everyone they played against. So, and the documentary kind of captures it kind of spot on. My number 2 is part of the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary series. It was called Bad Boys. It's about this Detroit Pistons NBA team. This is a team that were a bunch of guys, no superstars, but they played dirty, but they won. Until, of course, Michael Jordan came along and ended their reign. But an incredible documentary for any sports fan who would like to have a look. Should I throw in one more, or should I give it back to you?
No, throw in one more.
My third one is When We Were Kings, which is about the rumble in the jungle between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman in Zaire, which is now called DRC, in 1974. Great documentary, awesome footage, and I think one of definitely my top 3 sports documentaries. Cool, your side.
Brilliant. I actually did have Fire in Babylon, but I had it as a second choice, not because it wasn't my favorite, but there's a more recent one called The Test. That's on Amazon Prime. It's got nearly a 9 out of 10. There are 3 seasons. It basically follows the Australian cricket team post the Sandpaper Gate thing, and you get like a backroom view of what happens in the background with Justin Langer, Aaron Finch, all that sort of stuff. It's really, really riveting, and it's quite nice to see what happens in the background. There was also one with the Mumbai Indians where you'll see the normally mild-mannered Mahela Jayawardene swearing at the Mumbai Indian troops when he was head coach. That was my cricket one. In tennis, there's so many. There's even one called The French from way back when, where you see Yannick Noah playing in his little shorts, Chrissy Evert with ice all over her. But for me, the tennis one that makes most sense is there's a very recent one called Carlos Alcaraz My Way, and that is 3 episodes on Netflix. That is absolutely stunning. You go from, little insights to him. There he is inside of his tiny little room. He still lives at home with all his trophies on the wall and his sneakers. And you see his agent, who you often see on TV, Albert Molina. The one thing in that documentary that really caught me was his coach, Juan Carlos Ferreira, Juan Kiki, is really, really tough on him, saying if he wants to be the best, he's got to train a little bit harder and not take a few days off here and there. And then last one, which I think you'll probably agree, is Chasing the Sun, 1 and 2, the documentary on the Springboks. I think there's a scene in there which is just iconic where Russie's explaining kind of the numbers on the back. I don't know if you got anything more to add to that one.
Yeah. It was about the families. So they put the pictures of the families. Yeah, Makazole. So I mean, Chasing the Sun is also definitely up there in a top 10. Awesome documentary. And I actually found episode 1 or season 1 better than season 2.
Yeah,
because I think it was introducing it. Season 2 is obviously slicker, and that's why it's been nominated for an Emmy. But I mean, those stories around Makazole, heartbreak. But such an awesome story. Yeah. Beautifully produced. So awesome film.
And then our next segment, I don't even know what to call this. I keep messing it up. Fun, fast 5 facts.
Hey, see, you got it.
Finally.
Finally.
I got a few here. I'm going to go first with a rugby one.
Sure.
And keep it topical. Which Springbok rugby player has the most yellow cards?
Of all time, right? Or current team?
All time.
Yeah, Ben Elizabeth?
It's very surprising. It's Brian Habana with 7.
Wow.
Absolutely surprising. Most ever is Michael Hooper with 10 in 115 games. So 1 out of every 11. What do you got there for me?
All right, so I'm going to give you 3 because they follow on, so if you don't mind. So the first one is linked to the Ashes, right?
Yes.
How many wickets were taken by players born in England in this past Ashes test?
Well, I've got that as my question number 4, so I know the answer. Absolutely 0, right? There are 20 by Australians, 2 by someone from Barbados, 5 New Zealand stock, and 5 by South Africa. That's cost.
Okay, so follow on question, right? So you've got cost. Cool. Which school did he go to?
I think he went to Pearson in Guwahati.
Okay, of course. All right. So then another follow on. Tyler Paul is a lock with 3 caps for Italy, and he was born in Mojaji's Kloof in Limpopo. All right. Which school did he go to?
Oof. I mean, if he was in Mojaji's Kloof, that's close to
Zanin. Let me give you a clue. He may or may not have played against Bryden Cos. So that gives you a clue of where
he would have gone all the way down in I don't know, I'm going to have to say, I don't know, something like Alexander Road or Muir.
St. Andrew's College in Makanda.
Ah, okay.
Remember, I'm always throwing in a Makanda question.
You're always throwing in Makanda's style. I've got an interesting one for you. What is Mitchell Stark's highest test score?
Mitchell Stark probably has a 49.
It's 99. In fact, 99
I was thinking one of those 2.
So the bowling coach of Australia is New Zealand's Daniel Vittori, who on the ground just across the way at the Wacker got Shane Warne out for 99, which was also his highest test score. And they're not alone, there are quite a few, but the very last person to be 99 and out also wraps all the way around. It's Travis Head, who was 99 and up. So 99 is obviously not a score you want to get out on. Lucky I've only ever been there once and I managed to convert it. I've got an interesting rugby question for you related to World Rugby Player of the Year. Which South African rugby side, or rugby franchise, has the most World Rugby nominations for player?
Lions.
Lions are actually the least with 2.
Oh.
The Stormers and Sharks are 5 each, and it's the Bulls, amazingly, with 6.
So Brian Habana would have been at the Bulls then when he won World. Okay, because I was thinking Lions, but okay, makes sense.
I think in the year that he was actually nominated, he had left the Bulls and he had played a game for the Barbarians. And I don't know if you remember this, but because he didn't have a club, what socks did he wear? Remembering that if you play for the Barbarians, you have to
He would
wear
have won Kes.
He wore his King Edward School socks, and I don't know, I don't know if there's anyone else like that, but that's truly an amazing story.
Can I throw one in for rugby?
Absolutely.
So in terms of demise of sporting teams, I was going to talk about Wales, right? They currently have one of the longest losing streaks for tier 1 nations, right? At 18. But what is the longest losing streak in international men's rugby tier 1, I guess?
And it isn't this. Wow.
No, it's not that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm going to have to go to Scotland somewhere. Maybe just a couple more, like 20.
So it's Italy. 36 games before they won. Because remember, they're playing in the Six Nations.
Yeah.
So they went 36 games before they won. So that's an incredible stat.
Heartbreaking for Italy, but they're certainly not the team that they once were. Mr. Luyanda Peter.
Well, Wales is not the team they once were. So
no. Maybe they should have been in our demise. We missed them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That is an excellent episode. We will see each other again in a few days' time. Please keep subscribing. Please keep giving us feedback, of course, and we'll be trying to do polls on all of our platforms so you can join in the fun there. Thank you, Mr. Luyanda Peter. Until next time.
Cheers, and thanks to our listeners.